জনাইছে বিষয়া দুগৰাকীয়ে মুখ্যমন্ত্ৰী সৰ্বানন্দ সোণোৱাল আৰু নীতিশ কুমাৰক এই আহ্বান 18 ডিচেম্বৰত অপহৃত হৈছিল বিষয়াদ্বয় বিষয়া দুজনৰ এজন শিৱসাগৰৰ প্ৰণৱ কুমাৰ গগৈ আৰু আনজন হৈছে বিহাৰৰ ৰাম কুমাৰ অৰুণাচলৰ পৰা অপহৰণ কৰিছিল বিষয়া দুজনক ডাইনৰ খুনসাই খাও অঞ্চলৰ পৰা তেওঁলোকক অপহৰণ কৰিছিল আৰু অপহৰণ কৰাৰ বহুদিন পাৰ হৈ যোৱাৰ পিছতো যেহেতু এতিয়ালৈকে কোনো ধৰণৰ আসলতে তেওঁলোকক মুকলি কৰি দিয়াৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত কথা বতৰা আগবঢ়া নাই যাৰ পৰিপ্ৰেক্ষিতত আমি বাতৰি সম্প্ৰচাৰিত কৰি আছো কিদৰে বিষয়া দুগৰাকী পৰিয়ালৰ লোকৰ পৰা বাৰে বাৰে আহ্বান জনোৱা হৈছে যেহেতু বহুদিন হৈ গ'ল তাৰ পিছতো এতিয়া আলফা স্বাধীনৰ কব্জাতে আছে দুইগৰাকী বিষয়া কুইপৰ বিষয়ববীয়া পৰিয়ালৰ লোকে অনুৰোধ জনাইছে চৰকাৰক অনুৰোধ জনাইছে কিন্তু এতিয়ালৈকে এই দুগৰাকী বিষয়া আলফাৰ কব্জাতে আছে যাৰ পৰিপ্ৰেক্ষিতত মুখ্যমন্ত্ৰী সৰ্বানন্দ সোণোৱাল আৰু নীতিশ কুমাৰকো আহ্বান জনোৱা হৈছে 18 ডিচেম্বৰতে অপহৃত হৈছিল বিষয়া দুগৰাকী আৰু বিষয়া দুগৰাকী এজন ইতিমধ্যে আমি জনাইছো শিৱসাগৰৰ প্ৰণৱ কুমাৰ গগৈ আৰু আনজন হৈছে বিহাৰৰ ৰাম কুমাৰ
EIC Joint Secretary and above level officers who look after each and every state in India to go there prior to the visit of the Commission. Then next day we do what we always do as a part of our SOP, established SOP, and interaction with the political parties. Because we are of the firm view that after the voter, the most important edifice of the democratic system is political parties and political entities. After that, we had a meeting with the central and state enforcement agencies. After that, in the afternoon, we sat with all the deputy commissioners, SPs, divisional commissioners and IGs. This meeting ended yesterday night at about 10 o'clock. I was telling them that it was only in UP that we finished the meeting by 12 o'clock. So they should, even if they feel unhappy, they should keep that we have had meetings till 12 o'clock also. Today morning, we had our first meeting with Chief Secretary and his senior officers, which included DGP, Principal Secretary Health, Power, Transport, and other secretaries who are required functionally for the meeting. After that, now, as we always do, we come before you, the fourth state of the country, to present an account of our visit and to share with you our thoughts and to listen to your thoughts. The term of State Assembly in Assam is due to expire on 31st May 2021. You see, when we talk of term of any state, we take several factors in mind. We have such a varied geography, different seasons. For example, you cannot have an election. You have to kind of take account of Bihu while talking of Assam. You have to take account of Deepavali in North. You have to be sensitive to the Onam celebrations in Kerala. You have to be sensitive to Pongal celebrations in Tamil Nadu, so on and so forth. We are such a huge and diverse country. That's why we are called a subcontinent. And then we also take into account the state of infrastructure, the state of the weathers, and in the instant case, can you please switch off your mic? I request you, gentlemen, on the dais. In the case of these elections, we also have to take into account the exams to CBSE. Our senior most officer, senior only to Devendra Sharma, the Secretary General Shri Umesh Sinha, he had a series of meetings with the chairman of the CESP, and then they kind of work out some kind of acceptable framework. This time the exams through the CBSE, you must have read in the papers, most of you, especially those who cover education, would have covered it too, are going to start from 4th May. So everything has to kind of finish around that or preferably prior to that. And you're also aware that very recently the Commission had conducted Bihar elections, 7.50 crore population. And at that time COVID was at its peak. You may remember, if some of you may have followed that press conference, that I said that for us it's a leap of faith and not as a leap in the dark. But the leap of faith, this sentence cannot be spoken unless your colleagues have spent virtually burnt midnight oil. Here is Chandrabhushan, who is in charge of Bihar, just like he is in charge of Assam. These people, they worked, literally they put midnight oil, they burned midnight oil, and we were able to take care of elections to Bihar. And I must compliment even today the bureaucracy and the civil servants and the police officers, law and order machinery of Bihar, as well as the senior officers, the CEO there, that each of them, like a team, they kind of put in their worst foot forward, individually and collectively, to make those elections a success. In fact, we had some collectors who themselves had COVID, and who, while the election was going on, mercifully, they recovered. They not only participated in the elections, at least one of the collectors was also a medical doctor. He was kind of offering counseling and guidance to other collectors so that they don't get. There was a lady commissioner holding the charge of 2 divisions who also had COVID. Unfortunately, we had an IG who had COVID and who passed away while the election process was on. So we had so many examples. And I'm sure, after having taken a meeting with the team Assam yesterday and day before and today, they will all kind of give you and give the country a peaceful, fair, ethical, robust, transparent, and very important now, till the COVID is still not fully finished, safe election. In fact, in today morning's meeting, we had a special presentation by Principal Secretary Medical in the presence of CS as to what are they doing on 2 fronts. A, the procurement of material, that is the job of the state government. EC doesn't have any view on it, EC doesn't intervene in that, and we should not also. But more important, what are they doing for the dissemination of the message down all the lines? And I think CS himself has taken charge. I was told that yesterday itself he had a day-long meeting and they are trying their level best to cope up with the situation. Overall, in the collectors' meeting, we felt that one thing was said by, first I will come to what the political party said, then I will come to what the collectors said. We met all the political parties, including one party which is still not registered but who had sought time. The following issues were brought to the notice of the Commission by them. These issues at the end of the day are illustrative and not necessarily in this serial in which I am reading. Representatives from all political parties requested the Commission to keep in the dates for the View Festival. That was a common factor by deciding election schedule. Political party representatives said that such a schedule would encourage more voter turnout and would help avoid period of monsoon, etc. Keeping in view of COVID norms of ensuring social distancing, representatives desired that number of polling booths be increased and that the list of auxiliary polling booths also be made available in time so that parties can organize their own booth committees, etc. They were informed that already instructions have gone to, that was sent almost 20 days back, that the average voter from 1500 would be 1000. As a result of which, we have now auxiliary polling stations. I think the exact figure is 5324 and the round figure is 55 because in some places, some exercise is still on. They were told that you will be given lists very much in time so that you can appoint your booth committees, etc. They were happy to know that this has already been done. Need for adequate security even at the polling stations and deployment of commensurate security personnel was also cited. Videography to be done at all polling stations. Some representatives draw attention of the Commission on the vital and responsible role played by observers. Representatives desired that rigorous scrutiny be done and sincere, impartial and experienced officers from outside the state be deputed as observers. The honorable political parties are informed that A, Commission has an unwritten policy of not posting an observer who belongs to that state. We have already factored while making the calculations of dates in Delhi about the BU festivities. As you are aware, electoral rolls are like basically the brick and mortar of many elections. All DOs had been told to ensure fidelity of the rolls. The special summary revision of photo electoral rolls 2021 exercise has been completed on 18th January with the final publication of the electoral roll. As we brace for the polls, the total number of electors is 2,92,505. As per SSR 2021, the 80 plus voters number 21,93,713, service voters number 62,000, and PWD voters, persons with disability, are 1,27,392. We are particularly happy to note, and I must congratulate the citizenry of Assam, that elector gender ratio in Assam is 90-72 in favor of females as compared to the overall gender ratio in many states of 954. Assam shares boundaries with Bhutan and Bangladesh as well as other states in Northeast India. In this context also, EC has closely reviewed the poor preparedness work of various government agencies to ensure free, fair and ethical elections. You must be aware that for quite some time, EC has tried to create a different milieu of postal ballot and special facilitation for PWDs and 80 plus citizens as also COVID positive patients. And BLOs will do house to house visit for facilitation of Form 12D for senior citizens and PWD electors so that they can exercise their option for the postal ballot if they so desire. This will be available from the date of announcement of till 5th day following notification of elections. All polling stations in Assam are located on the ground floor. This is one of the questions we invariably ask. We had this difficulty, for example, in Mumbai, in Maharashtra, and we made sure that all the polling stations, with some odd exception here or there, got shifted to the ground floor, even in a city like Mumbai. But in Assam, there is no such issue. It is our constant endeavor to expand the range of services offered to our voters by voter facilitation and communication by ears. Commission lays great emphasis on assured minimum facilities at each polling station, including drinking water, toilets, waiting area and ramps. In fact, I would like to tell you that in today's meeting with the Chief Secretary, we had specifically sent a request that the additional secretaries who cover these departments should, additional principal secretaries or ACS, whatever the rank be, they must be there in today's meeting so that we can directly ask from them the status of these, what we call AMFs, assured minimum facilities, and the gaps, and how do they plan to fill those gaps. You must also be aware that now 11 documents in addition to the EPIC can be used for establishing your identity as a voter, namely Aadhaar, Manrega job card, passbooks with photograph issued by bank, post office, passport, driving license, service identity card with photograph issued to employees by central and state governments, PSUs, public limited companies, PAN card, smart card issued by RGI under NPR, health insurance, smart card issued under the scheme of Ministry of Labour, pension documents with photographs, offshore identity cards issued to MPs, MLAs and MLCs, etc. A special review was made of the COVID-19 related infrastructure preparations. And we are sanguine in the assessment after the meeting that with the kind of interest the Chief Secretary and Principal Secretary Health are taking, we would be kind of comfortable. We mean the system would be comfortable on both sides. The kind of equipment, that's one side, as I said earlier also, and the backup dissemination campaign with flyers and other things in the schools and various other places. In fact, while coming to your room, press room, Chief Secretary just met me and told me that he had a day-long review yesterday, but he plans to kind of make it almost a part of his daily agenda till the elections. You must also be aware that in the post-COVID-19 elections, we are giving COVID-19 kit to the polling teams and constituency teams. And in order to further decongest polling spaces and allow more free movement of the voters, polling time will be increased by 1 hour. In addition to the existing practice of submitting nomination papers by the candidates in offline mode, nomination form and affidavit may now also be filled up online and printouts can be submitted to the RO. Besides, security money can be deposited through online mode. Candidates can also seek elector certification digitally. The number of persons accompanying a candidate for dissemination of nomination has been restricted to 2. This was done at the time of Bihar election and we have maintained that. And the number of vehicles shall also be restricted to 2. Door-to-door campaigning will be restricted to 5 persons, including the candidate. Road shows are allowed subject to convoy being broken after every half an hour. And election meetings and gatherings, all election